Hi,
Hello,
Jayka.
Kathy. Hey, we're on Zoom.
We are on Zoom.
How
As a,
cool is this?
it's so cool. It is
Yeah.
so cool because we actually just got our second microphone like a couple of
Today.
hours ago.
Yes, because social distancing means you and I can't hang out together, which, by the way, that really sucks. I miss you. I
I
miss you.
miss you.
Yes, I
I
can't wait for, me to give you a great big hug again. And how awesome is it that we have this available to us?
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was going to order the mic online when we were chatting earlier today. And
Uh-huh.
when I called Best Buy, you could actually go and order it ahead of time. And you go and they have the lines, the little dots on the ground, and one of you goes at a time, you pick it up and you pay for it, and off you go. So it was all done very safe.
Perfect.
And it was something that for myself that
Mm-hmm.
and you, I know that we just like to be able to stay connected and
Yes.
to not do another podcast for another, at least week and a half until we put it out on that Tuesday. You and I both feel that there's so much to say right now, and there's
I
so
know
much
there's no
going on, and
time like the present.
there's no time like the present, right? So,
Yes.
I mean, and you have a big week coming up this week with
Yes, because our homeowners, we're house sitters, and our homeowners are coming home early. Hopefully, they have a ticket booked. They're in New Zealand and they're hoping to fly back at the end of this week. However, the flight is going from Auckland to LA to Vancouver. And LA right now is apparently a hot spot for the COVID-19. So they said that there's a possibility that the flight will be canceled because LA may be closing the airport. And so fingers crossed that it won't be. But then when they arrive in Vancouver, there is also a possibility that in Vancouver, they're going to say, come with us. You're going to quarantine. They have a hotel, apparently, where people are staying and they're being looked after, with food and whatnot. And they have to be there for 2 weeks. So still many unknowns. And Ian and I are just going with the flow. If they show up on Friday, we're out of here. And if they don't show up on Friday, then we'll be here for a couple more weeks. And that's okay too. Yeah.
And if you leave Friday, you're driving to Hinton and you're
Yes.
staying in your house, which has no tenant right now, which is fabulous.
Yes. So we have had this, we've owned this house for 20 plus years and have had renters for the whole 20 years, pretty much. Like it's never been empty. And about a month ago, not even a month ago, I received a text from our tenant to say, I'm really sorry, but we are moving back to New Brunswick and we're leaving in a couple of weeks. And I was like, oh, geez, really? Okay, we got to find new tenants, yada, yada, right? What a drag. And then with this whole coronavirus stuff going on, I'm like, man,
You're the tenants.
we're now going to be our own tenants. And how awesome is that? Because where would we go if we didn't have our home, and we wouldn't want to just, knock
It's
on
tough.
anyone's
It's tough
door?
because, I had said to you just a couple of months ago, if you're ever in between house sitting and you need somewhere to go, you're more than welcome to come here. But now I'm like, sorry, you can't come
Yeah,
here.
no, I
You
don't
know?
want you in the house, and
Yes.
that's
So it
okay.
all worked
So
out.
the
There are no
universe,
coincidences. There are no coincidences
I know,
exactly in
the
this life.
universe is looking after
The
us.
universe is looking after you. I mean,
Yeah.
what a time this is right now, right? For
Holy
so many. I mean,
cow. I know, right? Wow. Wow. I have
it
felt so
is.
much compassion. I've had my moments, and I know you have too, because of course, even though we haven't seen each other, we've definitely stayed in touch.
Yes.
And I mean, I've cried in Ian's arms, especially when I was reading about Italy, and where people were dying without their loved ones at their bedside, and the loved ones were mourning also in isolation. And I just thought, oh my gosh, like I can't even imagine how difficult that must be. And I just felt such compassion for them. And I know for you as well, right? You had a moment of crying in the shower, and right, I think it's hitting us all at different times. It comes in waves, right?
It really does come in waves. It
Yeah.
really does. And if there's one thing though for sure is that it's all of our own responsibility to make sure that we utilize this time as best as we can to really come at peace. You know, I say this often, but with your inner self, and forget about all the noise that's on the outside. You know, no one has to do any shopping right now. No one has to, you know, go out to the too often to a grocery store, only when needed. I mean, you don't have to book any plans. It's a time right now where everyone is slowing down, and you know, it feels really, really good.
It's a time
And
to go within and tap
yes,
into that greater part of us
yes,
is our consciousness, which is
yes,
filled with love and gratitude and compassion and peace, inner peace.
yes,
And I am so I just feel so grateful that I went through this surrendering practice. And I mean, it's a daily practice for me still, and it will be for the rest of my life. But you know, the cancer diagnosis for me is what triggered this surrender practice. And COVID-19 is testing it right now. And I am really feeling at peace with it. And yes,
yes,
I feel compassion. And yes, I cried and I allowed myself to cry. Whereas in the past, I would have possibly tried to stuff that down, you know, but no, I allowed myself to cry and I felt really good afterwards. And like it just kind of lightened the load off of me. And so, what a beautiful opportunity for humanity to dig deep and to start surrendering everything that comes up, the fear, the anger, the,
yes.
you know, whatever, if there's guilt,
Now's the time.
whatever it
Now's
is
the
that comes
time,
up.
because as I said, you don't have that monkey mind going on right now, and everything rushing and fast, and you know,
Right.
we were able to slow down and catch your breath. And I mean, as you know, I've been doing this now for a while, right? I've really gone
Yeah.
within, and I've taken a lot more time to myself in the last so many years as well. So for me to be on my own, you know, I know that I've done a lot of work on myself. I'm not lonely. I
Right.
have friends that I can reach out to. I've got my daughter here on the weekdays. I'm working from home. You know, I'm still busy in my job, but I'm also taking the responsibility for myself to make sure that I'm, you know, I'm doing the Zoom yoga class. I'm going out for walks. You know, I have to get outside every day.
Yes.
You know, I think that's the best thing for anyone to be in nature while we still can, because who knows what's going to happen in the future, right?
I know. Yeah.
So I feel really, really good right now. And, you know, I don't want to feel that I have to dim my light for others, that because I understand how difficult this is for a lot of people. I know
Right.
people have lost their jobs. I know that there's family members they can't see, all that. There's so many different heartfelt stories. But me personally, I'm in a place right now where I am just absolutely loving my little cocoon life right now. I really
Beautiful.
am.
And yes, please don't ever dim your light, because your light is going to encourage other people to snap out of the depths of despair and be like, hey, if Kathy can be light, maybe I can be too. Right? Because if we start to dim our light for others and match their low vibration, we're not doing anybody any favors.
I did that for a man once. I felt that it was his insecurities, and I
Mm-hmm.
felt that I was not wanting to be this confident, secure, outgoing. So I
Yeah.
would dim my light for him in certain situations, and then I realized, when you start doing, you know, work on yourself, you realize, wait a minute,
Yeah.
never, ever, ever will I do
Be
this
your
or do that
authentic
again.
self
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
shine
You know?
your light, sister.
Right. Yes. And shine my light.
Yeah. Yes.
even when we're all going to be dealing with what you keep hearing about with the appearance, with the gray hair, right?
Oh,
With
right, because nobody can go to the hair salons
no
right
one can
now.
go to the hair salons anymore, you
Mm.
know? But I will say, but that's part of this as well, which is wonderful. Everyone's going to be having the au naturel. You can't get your nails done, you know, your hair done.
Right.
You know,
You know, I saw on Facebook a post, the number one piece of clothing that's been discarded. Guess what it is? The bra. Everybody's just letting it all go. And I love it. It's awesome.
Exactly, exactly. Oh,
Yes.
for sure. I mean, there's a lot of fun that people are having as well, and they are reaching out, and there's a lot of different things on social media that's happening right now. My friend
Mm.
Michelle is doing a dance a day, which I think is
Yeah,
fantastic. I love
absolutely.
that. She's in the living room
Yes.
of her house. She does a different song every day. She's got like the whole outfit going on, and
Yeah.
and so be it. She's having fun in that moment. Good for
Yes.
her.
It's about
Yeah.
being able to pivot, right? When one door closes, open up another door. And so,
Yes.
however that looks for you, go with it. Go with it. And it takes
Yes.
us out of autopilot. So it's a really good thing. And these kinds of things also bring communities together, right? Everybody, I get to go outside every day and walk the dogs. And we have this, it's the quarry. It's not a dog park. It's private property that it says no trespassing, but we were told, no, 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 everybody goes. It's all good. The owner doesn't mind. And it's a massive piece of property. Beautiful, beautiful. And all the dog walkers, we all stay far away from each other, more than 6 feet, probably 10 feet apart. And there aren't many people there anyway, but everyone's so friendly.
Yes.
There is more friendliness out there. And out here in this small little community where we are right now, where the post boxes are, there were all these ribbons that, caution ribbons that the police use. And there was all these strips of, whatever, 2 feet of ribbon hanging there. And we're like, what the heck is going on? This has been a couple weeks ago now. And so I got out of the car and read the note, and it said, take one of these ribbons and put it in the house. And if you're in a really bad place, if there is an emergency in your home, tie that ribbon on the doorknob outside. And there are volunteers that are driving around the neighborhood, checking all the doors to make sure that everyone's okay. Brilliant, isn't it? And they also
It is.
encouraged, if you're walking your dog outside, keep an eye out as well. And if you happen to see a ribbon tied onto a front doorknob, knock on the door, find out, can I help you? Yes. So yes, it's been really, really difficult for the world, and beautiful things arise out of it as well. I do believe, I trust that people are breaking open. They're becoming more conscious. Not all. There's some that are going to go even deeper into the ego, fear-based world. But definitely, I believe that there will be people that are they're going to be better for it. They will.
Absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. It's
Yeah.
gonna it's going to there's going to be a shift. There's going to be a shift in this world after
Yes.
this, and I truly believe
Yes.
that the world is going to be a kinder place.
Mhm.
And we're all connected, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not because it's this virus that, yes, we are losing people and nobody wants anyone to die, of course, but it's a beautiful in terms of how it's we're all one. We're
Yeah.
all one right now. It's about
Yes.
humanity.
It
it's
is, and
it's
humanity is coming together, so it's a good thing. Now, I was chatting with a dear friend of mine a few days ago, and she used to be a client of mine when I was working for the MS Society. And I called her up just to say hello and connect with her. And I asked her, I said, how are you doing? And she said, she goes, oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. She says, this coronavirus doesn't affect me at all, doesn't change my life at all. And that really made me stop and realize, like, yeah, she's lived in a wheelchair and has been stuck at home. She's essentially been quarantined for years. And she's only a couple of years older than you and me. And so this quarantine, I think, is also making people more compassionate for people such as my friend, your sister, right, who has been bedridden for many years as well and lives in a
um,
hospital. I
I
think
just
this is
tried getting
giving
in
us a
touch with
taste.
her. Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
It's
And the difference is, for us, it's temporary. We know that once the coronavirus is done, we get to go out and about again and live life again. But for them, It's the rest of their life, right? That they're stuck at home. And so what good can come out of that? How many people are now thinking, hey, you know what? I'm gonna visit them more because now I know what it's
Yes.
like to be quarantined.
Yes.
Yeah. And how is your sister doing?
Well, I now have a new system in place where I can call and get the nurse to put the phone on her shoulder next to her ear so she can
Mhm.
hear me talk, because there's no visitors right anymore, even though she's in Ottawa and I'm out west. But no friends or her kids, my brother, no one can go visit her anymore.
Right.
So you want to be able, the machine's not working in the room, so usually she can hear my voice on the answering machine. But it was pretty heartbreaking today because I called earlier and someone at the nursing station was going to go down, and then I called the room and it just rang and rang again because they were going to pick up the phone and put it by her ear. Then I
Mhm.
called the nursing station again and someone else answered and said they'd go right down. And it still rang and rang and rang. So I don't know if the ringer's off or what's going on with the phone. And then when I called the nursing station back, I couldn't get through again. So just the
Right.
thought of my sister lying there, and 3 times I called and let it ring and ring and ring, like 15 to 20 times.
Yeah, that's
Imagine that
tough.
feeling. I mean, we can say we can imagine, like we can say, "Oh gosh, I can imagine how to." We can't imagine.
No.
No, nobody can imagine until you're actually in that position, right?
Right.
We can all think that we can relate, and trust me, I know you feel empathetic. You feel all,
Mhm.
can do our best to feel that way, but really, I can't even
Until
imagine.
you've walked a mile in their shoes
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
rolled a
Yes.
mile in their wheelchair, I suppose, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
we don't know. We don't know.
No. So we all have, everything right now in this world. It's impacting, affecting us all in so many different ways, and
Yeah.
a lot of it depends in terms of where you were in your life. And I don't mean physically where you were, but where you were in terms of how you, um, how good you were with yourself, right, and
Mhm.
your inner being, um,
Yes.
how you're going to move forward, right? So
Right.
for myself, I mean, and you know this, we talk about this all the time, that so I've been working on myself for years now. So for me, I'm just going to embrace this time and make the best of it. And I'm
Absolutely.
enjoying my yoga at home, my walks. I've got the dog throughout the week. I said to Kelly, I'm working from home. I can keep Lola. I've got my daughter here. I've got the weekends to myself. Can you imagine? It's our new schedule
Mm.
moving forward, right? And I thought,
Yes.
oh my gosh, when work starts on Monday, I don't have to think about what I'm having for dinner Wednesday because I'm organized for the week. I'm trying to go to the grocery store once a week, in and out, even every 10 days if I can.
Yes.
And that's it. I mean, everything else is going to be just very low key. And
Mhm.
I am okay with that right now.
Yes. My book came out about 4 days before, all hell broke loose in the world, right? It came out the weekend of March 8th, and I think it was around March 12th that people
Right.
started saying, quarantine and then Amazon. So my book is on Amazon, and then Amazon was saying they're not shipping, and I was just like, "Are you
Right.
kidding me? Like, really? I just put the book out there."
Yes.
And then I had all these presentations booked, right? And all of them, of course, are canceled. So here I had
Right.
3 cases of books sitting here in the house. And I'm like, what the heck am I going to do with all these books? And our car is packed to the gills, really. Like when we travel from house to house, there is very little space left in our cart. Not enough space for these 3 cases of books. So thankfully, I put it out there on Facebook. Anybody interested in getting a signed book, I will sign it for you and I will mail it to you, right? And so I've gotten rid of over 50 books, over half,
So
right? So
awesome.
that's awesome. And I started to realize Amazon is shipping, by the way, and I don't think they ever really stop shipping.
No.
But I started to realize at first I'm like, oh, couldn't have picked a worse time for my book to come out. And now I'm like, or this could be the best time because my book is all about surrendering. And with so many people
Yes.
in fear and the unknown of the future, what better thing to do than start a surrender practice?
Yes.
and let go of
Yes.
fear and let go of anger and be okay with the unknown and trust that everything's going to be okay. And so the book has actually done quite well. It really has. And people have more time to read.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
no
Yes.
presentations, but other things are going well. And I'm getting interviewed online. I have a Facebook Live tomorrow, and a few
You
other
had an
things.
article, your interview in the newspaper,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Yes.
I was interviewed a couple of weeks ago as well. So things are moving, and it's all good. It's all good.
Yes.
Just going with the flow. That's
Yes.
really, I think, if there is a lesson in this, is for people to learn to trust, go with the flow, pivot where you need to pivot, and find that inner peace, and be kind and gentle and patient with yourself and with others.
Yes. That's a
Yes.
beautiful message.
Yes. And on that note, shall we sign off our very first Zoom podcast?
We did it. High five,
High
girlfriend.
five.
High five.
Yes. Woohoo. We did it. Now we have
We
to
did
figure out
it.
how
Yes.
to save this and post it and all of that, but it will all come together, I'm
It
sure.
will all come together. So
Yes.
nice to see you, even though we have FaceTime, but so nice to be able to put something out there to all of our podcast world.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And
and
our
be safe,
listeners.
everyone. Be safe.
Yes.
And I know everyone's doing their best right now, and
Yeah.
we're going to get through this.
We
I
will.
just
And
know it.
be
I
kind
know
to one another.
it.
Be
Yes.
kind to yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.